we we completed the longest side quest for an Abric Cham ever, and this time we also did get a couple of discoveries and fight some optional ship battles. This time we're going to get the rest of the high altitude and low altitude discoveries available. Alright, so since we are starting in Ixtaka, let's go ahead and go way up here. Oh, and before I'm thinking, since I didn't show all of them last time, alright. Let's look at the 3 discoveries I did get. Alright. We read Eclipse Point, so Looper's Nest. Loopers are mysterious creatures, rarely seen even by the most seasoned of sailors. They nest in their stone reefs, and their young stay in the nests until they mature. Loopers are white at birth, but turn various colors as they age. Now, this is particularly interesting because loopers, spoilers, are likely ghosts. I think, yeah, I read the Sky Letter. Alright. And Long Line, I believe I read that. Yes. The only one I didn't read was the Looper's Nest. This is the Alupus, an ancient species that predates the Ixtacan civilization. The Alupus live quietly in the forest. Their calm, proud demeanor has earned them the name Sages of the Forest. They are also known for choosing their mates for life. Alright. Now I just need to make sure I got everything. I know there's at least a handful of high altitude discoveries. Now the next one is going to be on one of these very high up. You just got to keep going until you get a winner. There it is. The Observatory. A civilization once flourished in this land under the Green Moon. The observatory built on the Ixtacan Plateau speaks to their advanced study of astronomy, but they could do naught but watch as a shower of moonstones destroyed their culture. Obviously, in reference to the fact that the Mayans and Aztecs were experts in understanding the astrology or astronomy and whatnot. It actually would have been basically a rough form of astrology. Alright, I'm going to look for 2 objectively very difficult discoveries. So if I'm looking at my map right, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. So you're wanting to look for something that basically just loops all the way around here, and it's not fast, but it is a little tricky to pin down because it's got a relatively small character model. It goes in this direction, so if you want to increase your chances of finding it, you want to kind of go in the opposite direction. The other one is objectively harder because it is not only small but fast. It kind of loops around my Mount Kazai, comes up about here, loops back at the border of the Dark Rift, and then you go around. But it is flipping fast, it is flipping small. So I will be including a map, but if it takes long enough, I will probably just speed up until I find these annoyances, if I'm being frank. Maybe if I get really lucky, I'll get some good RNG and just bump into them. There is ways. They actually do have dedicated spawn points, so if you kind of put yourself at certain places and then just restart the game, that is one way to do it. I'm too lazy to do that. And let's see, I actually went the wrong way. I need to go up, not down. At least what I saw is true. I will also probably be collecting a few more Rome High fish back in No, I need to be in my 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, I don't need to go any further. There it is. Got lucky with that one. It's not terribly hard, but you have found the flutterflies. A butterfly that travels in groups in search of balloon flower nectar. Their remarkable endurance allows them to cross vast spans without sleeping or resting. Also, the silk produced by their larvae is valued for its strength and resilience. Alright. Oh. How was that? I was wondering, I was like, recall there being a Valuan ship out here. No, there is a black pirate one, though. Alright. Now, it is time for an exercise in masochism. So, the other one that's going to be a pain and a half follows this way. You can roughly follow about here on the bottom, kind of track down where this ends, and that's kind of the ending point. Just go here, here, and then you want to kind of, right as you're about to pass over Valua, angle up, and it's going to stop at about 3/4 up, roughly, give or take. Pretty close to the Dark Rift line. Alright, let's see if I get lucky and find this first shot. Maybe the Let's Play curse will kick in, and I'll have just find it within seconds of starting on the path. Otherwise, I don't know. I might have to play some Benny Hill music or something. Actually, I was saying, granted, it doesn't loop around Mount Kazai, it kind of loops directly in front of Mount Kazai. So, you want to actually go all the way here, kind of stop in front of the, what looks like the peak, and then angle up. So, yeah. No, I thought usually the cursor. Alright, so I'm going to do that again. Alright, so what we're looking for roughly starts about here, loops here, starts hanging up here, and then loops back down here. The other one, the flutterflies, roughly goes from about here to here. Alright. Oh my gosh, I am lucky as heck. That is not supposed to happen. And that means I'm actually a little... Maybe the discovery map's off. Okay, so this thing is small and it is fast. Unlike the flutterflies, it's not a multiple models. You have found the flying flail. An ancient history book shows records of contests of strength in which athletes would spin balls of steel at great speeds and launch them into the air to see whose ball traveled the furthest. I think this guy won. Could this ball be from such a contest? My wife jokingly said it's called shooting your shot. Alright. Now, I'm going to go down into Central Ocean. Well, since I'm near Nazrad, there's a couple of easy ones. So you see what looks like a satellite. Make sure I got my mic on. You have found the Iron Star, a strange object said to be launched by the ancient civilization of the Red Moon. Its purpose has been long forgotten, but legends say that its eye could see the entire world. Even now, sailors navigate by its rhythmic flashing light. I feel like I'm at too low of an altitude for it to be properly orbital, but sure. This should be a little darker.
Big brother.
My wife just said it's Big Brother, so I'm out.
Conspiracy.
We'll leave that in.
Conspiracy theories.
Needed targets for Recumen to attack. Let's see, okay. So there's supposed to be a rainbow not too far off from here. I'm not completely insane, am I? Alright, I knew the Iron Star shouldn't be far off from it. Maybe. There it is. Alright, you want to go to this rainbow right here. And you have found the Rainbow Islands. What lies at the end of the rainbow? It's a question that everyone asks when they are young, but as they grow older, it is often forgotten. Perhaps one of the few who remember can find the legendary island at the end of the rainbow. Alright. So. There's no particular order for this, it's just whatever I'm feeling. Alright, so there's Mount Kazai. However, we want to go northeast. And admittedly, the Yafutoma ones are all kind of easy enough to get, so I'm going to go for that first. Except for, well, high altitude ones aren't too bad. One's a little tricky because it's invisible, but... Alright. What you want to do is you kind of want to hit the farthest grid right, second one down. A good hint is that it actually, the Ryugu turtle will cross paths with it. Alright, well let's start with this guy first, because if I'm not mistaken, here we are. You have found the Mother Tree. This tree is revered by Yafutomans. In one of their ancient scriptures, it says that he who climbs to the top of this tree will someday conquer the world. This tree is now 2,000 years old. To this day, no one has ever made it to the top. If it weren't Yafutoma, I would be convinced that, okay, so there's our turtle. And he's kind of starting his descent, so you want to kind of use that as a point of reference. And it's a little tricky, so just kind of... There you go. Just keep clicking A, you'll find it. The Ryugu Island. And this is another reason why I wish you could honestly step on some of the discoveries, because that looks beautiful. At least the discoveries that are islands. I mean, you kind of can because of Temple of Piran and Gates of Rixus, but that would be fun to explore. And this kind of is an addendum to the Ryugu turtle story, so if you want to go back and look at that and kind of make it one coherent thing. And so the turtle brought the old man to an island of great beauty where the beautiful princess Oto awaited. They laughed and ate and danced for days. When the turtle finally brought the old man home, 300 years has passed. He's been around a minute. Okay.
Sweet, man.
I'll be back shortly, guys. Alright, I'm back. As I was, so we got really fortunate. Got the Flying Flail, got Ryugu Island. Is there anything else that is in the upper sky near Yafutoma? I'm trying to think. That's lower. Okay. However, next thing we want to do is head towards the Dark Rift. And there's a couple of discoveries we can kind of get near there, but there's also going to be something I want to check on as well. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to head over to the Dark Rift. I don't think there's anything high up on the way, so I'm just going to save myself some time and speed along. I'm going to go towards the center of the Dark Rift first. Alright, here. And you can kind of see it off in the distance. There's what appears to be an island. Alright. So right over here, that is a drunk Hamacho. Okay. The Cham. And we want to talk to maybe this big Hamacho over here. Didn't know they got this big. Chirpy chirp chirp. Chirpy chirp. Be quiet, Chirp. What do you want? I'm concerned. Whoa, who is this old guy? I'm the Hamacho Hermit, Chirp. I'm their friend and caretaker, Chirp. This is our private paradise, Chirp. You're invading our privacy, Chirp. You're really starting to bother me, Chirp. If you don't leave soon, I'll have to spread bad rumors about you, Chirp. Let's talk about the way I fight. 1508, so I ain't close. That's kind of refreshing. One time, I suppose, that's acceptable. If you get 0, he basically says you're either really brave or really... I think it's either really brave or really slow. So this is low by his standards. I have gotten Deathless. It is the same quote before, and I have actually gotten the Deathless Vice, the Extravagant Vice Legend, for those curious. It was very hard, and admittedly, I had to figure out. I did involve a little bit of Looper Land grinding. Actually, I needed to go back and double check my treasure hunting skills, so I don't know why I was doing that. %, and that's exactly, if I'm not mistaken, where it should be at this point in the game. There's another thing I could get low down, and it should bump it up to 85. So I'm going to double check back with him once I get that discovery, but that seems accurate. We are on track to have all of them. Alright, our next high altitude discovery is actually kind of hovering around the Dark Rift, and once I get to it, and let me see here, you kind of want to go clockwise in a circle around the better part of the Dark Rift. It actually does something of a bit of a square pattern, but as long as you kind of, if you look on the map, you see kind of this circular area right here, kind of surrounding the Dark Rift. That's where you want to be headed. Alright. And like I said, the it's actually kind of a square pattern. It does travel counterclockwise, but as long as you kind of don't hug quite the edge, but travel clockwise in a way that you are constantly in view of the edge, you should eventually run into it. I could be wrong. Just finagle it. If not, I'll kind of replicate the exact pattern that it goes in, but So that doesn't appear to be working. I could be wrong. Oh no, I'm not quite there yet. Can't assume anything until I've at least made one full trip around. It's not terrifically hard to find. It is a rather slow-moving discovery, but once again, it's a moving discovery with a bit of a small. There it is. All right, and get ready. Get it. You have found the ghost ship. An unmanned shipwreck that continues to wander the skies. Many sailors tell of a ghost ship that appeared suddenly from the fog. Some claim that it was once the ship of the great air pirate Dackett, but no evidence has been found to support that. That plot hole I want to discuss, though there might be an explanation for it. And I'll come up with what I think my explanation might be. If you don't remember, his grave reportedly is over near Central Ocean. Now, to be fair, when we got knocked back from the fight with Plergoth, as we figured out, Ragdam, we got knocked from basically right near the Maw of Tardis all the way over Aiken, over to near Crescent Isle. I'm going to assume that Aika and Fina weren't far off, because Clara technically picked them up, and that's how they ended up in Nazrad. Now, to be fair, that was partially the lifeboat helping him out a little bit and managing to probably manage to stay barely functional while horribly damaged. But still, it's unbelievable. It's hard to believe that Dackett somehow died on this ship and then ended up all the way in Central Ocean. Now, my best theory is that he would have died not too far off from the Dark Rift, but he was born and raised near where Pirate Isle is, and that is why his grave is there. And this would actually be a cool prequel to do. And, okay, I'm going to go ahead and break quota. I'm trying to keep it allocated to upper and lower, but since I'm keeping up with obnoxiously hard to find moving discoveries, the next thing I want to do, I'm going to pick, and this is where you pick a quadrant. This is probably one of the hardest ones. It's got an easy enough to find model, but the trade-off is that it moves very fast, and this thing can somehow actually move through the Dark Rift. It's going to be hovering more or less around that same circular area around the Dark Rift. I pick this particular quadrant. Yes, this one. Kind of where we first enter Yafutoma. And similar to the other one. And this one goes counterclockwise. Or no, it goes clockwise, so you want to face a counterclockwise direction. So, yep. Alright. Now, the best way to do this, you will inevitably run into it. You want to kind of, this goes as something of a square pattern. What you want to do is put yourself more or less in viewing distance of the actual Sky Rift near the Dark Rift, but not right next to it. And then just sort of go back and forth until you see it. It's not the best strategy. I'm going to make sure I line this up right. Eventually you will cross paths with it. It may take for bloody ever. Don't inadvertently change the camera like I do. I need to get a proper controller so I'm not accidentally hitting the C-stick, as it were, so often. And I am intentionally speeding this up because, admittedly, there's just nothing fun about this one discovery. Oh, don't tell me I just lost the damn thing. And I went and got disoriented hard. Okay. I would say this is the Let's Play curse at full capacity, but honestly, no, this thing is just that obnoxious to find. Well, hell, technically, if I just let the thing speed up, the thing is moderately fast, so you will inevitably cross paths with it. Actually, looking at where it is, I could be a little... Alright. So, if you put yourself along this horizontal line, you should theoretically run into it. So I'm just going to kind of keep back and forth until I run into it. And unfortunately, that's about what this discovery boils down to. It's just extraordinary patience. Maybe try changing strategy. Like the others, it does have a spawn point, so if you kind of know where it is, you can kind of use the reset trick to rig it, but generally speaking, it is not an easy... Another thing you could do is kind of try to give you some perspective. According to the map, it looks like it travels roughly in about this pattern. Just always keep the Sky Rift in sight, and you should be good, theoretically. I say that, and yet obviously I haven't been good for a minute now. That's one kind of unfun thing about this, is the Dark Rift is a lot of effort to get around. This is where it would be a little unfortunate to discover that the map on the wiki is wrong. There's a chance I may have seen it earlier in the game and you didn't even realize it. It's a giant flipping boulder. And you music and JoJo fans will love the name of it too. I'd like to remind you it's probably not a JoJo reference. It's definitely not a JoJo reference. Probably isn't even meant to be a music reference. I like JoJo, but the fan base could get a little bit ridiculous with the things the anime itself referencing somehow being the references. see here. I'm just going to keep going down quadrants until I get a winner, frankly. Like, I'm not sure if I just had the devil's luck with, wondering if the game's got it wrong. Or not the game, the wiki. I'm going to try a different approach. Like, this discovery is very much trial and error. Alright, I might come back to this one. Since I'm underground. Yeah, that's the problem, is this thing is so flippin' hard to find. Usually the way I end up finding it is I go do something else. And then when I come back to it, it's there. Alright, so we're kind of almost directly under Yafutoma. And if you see right here, the Stone Lovers. It is said that the tomb of a great Yafutoman king is hidden somewhere near this statue. Seeing how long I've been going for. The people of Yafutoma believe that this statue was carved after his death to show the love that his people had for him and the love that he had for his wife. So there's that. Yafutomans taking full advantage of their versatile technology. And unfortunately, Yafutoma is just notorious. The general Yafutoma area is going to be notorious for having hard-to-find under-the-cloud discoveries. I'm going to slow down on this a little bit. I don't want to be too wild with it. And without fail, this thing is always blatantly visible when you're first entering Yafutoma in game, as if to taunt you, but then all of a sudden. But that leads me to an idea. The first thing I did when I got out of here was we're gonna take advantage of the Dark Rift, because that might be near its spawn point. All right. I'm gonna see if I can make that work to my favor. I can't tell, but I think I did see it off in the distance. If so. Well, that's where the discoveries page can help. Alright. To first locate Ryukon's island, enter and promptly depart. It's general to their spawn locations, which is nearly due north of Ryukon's Isle. Travel north, and the Rolling Stone should become not only visible but obvious. Alright, let me try this. I'm looking up the wiki, and we're going to see if this trick works. But Since it requires us going into Ryukon's island, let's go ahead and try to find another obnoxiously difficult discovery. Alright. So, this one reportedly kind of travels in a bit of a clockwise square movement across the LM, the end of the L, the end of the M, and the end of the N grids, spanning the top of 6 through the lower half of 8. Travel this in a counterclockwise, and theoretically you should inevitably run into it. Once again, like the Rolling Stone, I don't know the exact science to it. It kind of stops just right before the Guardian walls near Yalfatoma. And having been said, it doesn't like to make itself easy to find. If you want to give yourself some leeway, you don't have to put yourself right in its path, just moderately close can help. Thankfully, once we get this and the other one, kind of the last of the really frustrating deep ocean ones will be addressed. Let's see what the wiki says on this one. Alright. So, let's see here. It says it can be found near the southeast part of the Guardian Wall. But the wiki is very clear that this is a moving discovery. There it is. There's our discovery. The Deep Iron Star. A metallic relic of the ancient world. Legend has it that the ancients once harnessed the power of the blue moon to be able to detect sound waves to let them know when their enemies were approaching. Perhaps this machine serves such a purpose. So yeah, basically it's a submarine. Alright. I'm going to take one more crack at seeing if the rollings... well, hold on. Kind of gave it away, but... Alright, change of plans. Ryukon it is. Reportedly, the trick the game suggests is heading straight to Ryukon's island. Not there. That's the Mystic Orchard doesn't help, and if I run into an encounter, well, shouldn't be the end of the world. So, reportedly, what the wiki suggests, we're about to figure out if this works. You want to drop down from here, go ahead and get your compass facing north, and literally just go straight. That's what the wiki suggests. We're about to see if this works. And I ain't bothering speeding up because this is a rather... See, the problem is, I have no doubt that there's some validity to this, but I just feel like I'm doing it wrong. Half of this episode is just going to be looking for this one infernal discovery. This is going to be fun. Now, if you're playing the Dreamcast version, I think this is only exclusive to the GameCube version, but... Alright. Lord, what am I doing wrong? Alright, I guess we're coming back to this one later, again. Alright, so for the time being, we have another high altitude discovery, since I can't for the life of me find this one. And we want to kind of put a triangle roughly between the lands of ice, this little alcove, kind of between Maramba and the Temple of Piran right here, and near Rixus. As long as you travel along that triangle, you should find it. Right, I'm 0 for 2 in discoveries. I'll have to wait until after I've cleared the dungeon afterwards. And I mean, this is just a matter of literally just kind of... It does take a rather wide berth. Alright. Now we just change angle. We want to kind of put ourselves on the path to Rixus. Kind of west-northwest. And you've actually seen it in passing before in a prior episode if you were paying attention. The problem is... I may angle myself too much. And you want to turn around about here and face yourself towards the lands of ice. A little bit of a sharper angle. Alright. However, the devil's luck finding that. Another thing you want to look for is a mountain that extends above the top of the lands of ice. Since we're here. And that I'm having trouble finding. Okay, there it is. Alright, if you come up to this mountain peak right here, you get our next one. The Tomb of Ice. A coffin of ice, built by a father who cannot bear his sorrow. The girl encased within the ice bears the expression, almost resembling a smile. Etched into a tablet, sealed within are the words, "My daughter, may your beauty be eternal." So it's a little macabre, actually, but... Alright. Now, I probably horrifically threw myself off, so... It's not a terribly hard discovery to see, but it is it's big, but it's narrow and it's fast. You know, at any point, if anyone... There it is. There's what we're looking for. Okay. The Sky Train. While a rail car of a similar nature currently exists in Valua, this flying train is believed to have once carried passengers between the lands of the red, green, and purple moons. Although no more passengers board, the Sky Train carries on. You see, that's... I hate to say it, that's almost kind of cool. Like, that's... Okay. Let's see if I can find this hellion of a discovery. Alright. Well, I'm going to keep trying to line myself up with this Sky Rift, and I'll come back to you when I find this nightmare of a discovery. It never gives me the easy time. I'll be back shortly. So I'm back. I ultimately swallowed my pride and rebooted the game. I just started at Ryukon's Island and headed due north, and this nightmare of a discovery... What's funny... You'd think it'd be easier to find. It's big, it's relatively slow, but the fact that it crosses the Dark Rift so frequently is, well, it makes the whole idea completely counterintuitive. This is the Rolling Stone. In the Dark Rift, there is a boulder that defies the power of the storm within which it lives. Scientists have tried to study the rock to figure out how it floats, but unfortunately, the path of it is so random that unless you use a particular hack, you can't find this thing easily enough. No. But it moves with such speed that any ship that gets too close is pulled into the depths. Yeah, that thing can go kick rocks. Or get shot in the face by Mista. One of those two. Alright. Let's see here. Let's see what our discoveries are. Basically, once I'm 3 short, I'll kind of know that I'm where I need to be. 1, 2. Alright. So this is where... Probably just sorting to the wiki will be easier, because I think I've finally gotten rid of all the annoying high altitude. Most of the annoying ones. Alright. Next place I'm going to head over to is I'm going to head over... Actually, I'm going to decide... I think the Land's Vice will work. Alright. And on top of going to Land's Vice, alright, so let's do this. We've got one that's kind of near the west end of it. Make sure I know what I'm doing. Okay, so you kind of see it off in the distance. Deep snow. In the sky beneath the Land's Vice, a white substance rises up from beneath the clouds, like some sort of secret fountain. It only ever appears in one specific place, making it even more difficult to understand. Alright. Now we want to head east. And it's this guy right here. You have found the Southern Cross. A mysterious cross-shaped island. The building that sits atop is said to be a remnant of the Purple Civilization. Legends say that the long arm of the cross points towards the location of the civilization, but no one has ever confirmed it. Well, and... Okay. If I can line my hand up on the keyboard. Yeah, I need to get myself one of those Nixie controllers. Can anyone in the comments section confirm, does that actually work with PC? It says on Amazon it does, but... Alright, next thing we want to do is not actually a discovery, but we want to find the underside of Glacia. And a single chest containing a moonberry. And let's see. I'm actually going to give Enrique his last move. The Judgment. Oh. There is. Oh, come on. You couldn't even give me the enemy in question. There we go. I think it's actually... It's a little tricky to find. Okay, there it is. I think I'm going to title this episode I'm Blind. Because at this point, that's what it's feeling like. Alright. Return to the Delphinus. Alright. Next thing we're going to do is we are going to take ourselves a field trip. Let's do it this way. We've already got the Looper Land ones. Right. I think the next area I want to go to is actually... I'm going to head kind of to Central Ocean, actually. We want to keep in the upper sky. If I were to suggest how to do this moderately quickly, there are speedrunners of Skies of Arcadia legends. And what's surprising is that the world record seems to be in about the 20-hour mark. 11 for just any percent, but 20 hour for... You have found the Moonstone Lake. A truly rare sight. A waterfall that runs through a vein of moonstone. The water plunges from above to carry away the bits of moonstone, and it is said to have mystic attributes. It is believed that those who drink the water enjoy long life. If I were to recommend a streamlined path to these discoveries, I would recommend looking up those who do the Legends speedruns. But that is kind of surprising. That to me suggests that, if anything, and obviously I'm going to wager they were not using Dolphin Emulator and speeding up the gameplay. I don't think they'd count that, similar to how Billy, whatever his face is, lost all of his... You have found the flying machine. An odd-looking ship whose origins remain a complete mystery. The fluid design and strange metals used in its hull have led to theories of a ship built on another world, and some even go far as to say it traveled through areas without air. Interesting. Talk more on that later. Sorry, I just lost my thought. Yeah, I would look up... That does suggest to me that there's not a whole lot in the way of glitches that can be exploited for this, so it's kind of cool. And I'm actually... I don't want to go quite there just yet. I want to actually head over here. I want to kind of get near, like... I want to get near South Ocean, actually. Alright. I mean, it's kind of tricky to find, so... It should be roughly about here-ish. But... There it is. Okay. You have found the bottomless pit. A chimney-like rocky mountain with a hollow center rising up from the great cloud sea. From the depths of the pit, it is said that a woman's weeping can be heard in the wind. Could this mythical entrance be the land of the dead? Yeah, no, I do want to check my discoveries. One, two, three, 4, 5. I need to at least discover 2 more that aren't the ones I'm intentionally keeping myself from getting. I don't actually think that getting them will inadvertently get you the... As long as I don't finish... Okay, so let's go over here. I know where one of them is. You want to look for an island, kind of an island near the lower end of Valua, so... Okay, so that's a little too far. And I do believe you can find it on, like, what is effectively a small island. I'm hoping it's not a straight-up invisible one. I think there's our island. So, roughly about here. And like I said, there will be, this episode particularly, if I forget the map on any other one, it will be this. The Valuan Wreckage. 20 years ago, a flagship of the Armada disappeared above northern Nazrat near the end of the Valua-Nasser War. Some theories mention a murder attempt on the commander of the Armada, but the mysterious disappearance has never been fully explained. I could potentially talk about this, but full disclosure, there's no way of confirming this is any sort of thing we know about, and I'll explain it in further detail later, but there's a popular theory regarding that, but it's only so popular because after a little bit, people know it just doesn't hold ground. What is the observatory? 53. What is 54? Okay, so I don't want 54 or 56. What is the bottomless pit? That is 63, so I'm thinking I'm wanting 64. Okay, yep. I know the other one I'm missing. Okay. And that I could find near the Dark Rift as well. I got so driven insane by the Rolling Stone that I didn't even think about that one. Oh, speaking of the Rolling Stone, I don't think I described it in full. So basically what I did was I dropped directly below Ryukon's island, faced dead north, saved, reset the game, and then pulled up that save file. It's not a trick I like. It feels cheap, but it is how actual speedrunners do it, so I guess if they do it, it's okay. I'm just personally not a fan of the method. But if it gets the job done. Alright. Nope. You have found the ancient fish. A species of fish that was believed to have been extinct millions of years ago. Its vestigial gills and fins that look like hands and feet seem to point to an evolutionary path from the waters to dry land, and then to the skies. I'm going to get away from that beep beep beep, but I need to figure out. Alright, and fun fact about this discovery, it is the only one in the game. It is the only one in the game you can catch. It is reportedly based heavily off the coelacanth fish. Kind of cool. Alright, and now next off, we want to go to Valua. There are precisely 2 discoveries underneath it. And these will be 2 of the 3 final discoveries you could get in the game. I just gotta know where the heck I am on this planet. 62 and 63 are both moderately close to each other. This one should be here, more or less. You have found the Rabats. A strange creature that spends its entire life hanging upside down by digging its claws into the rock face. until it was discovered underneath the Valuan continent. It was thought to be a myth. Its intelligence and ferocity belie its cute appearance. And then next off, let's check this guy out. You have found the dancing lights. A natural phenomenon that can be seen underneath the Valuan continent. It is said to be caused by electricity from the yellow moonstones in the Valuan soil. Some say that it is caused by a giant creature that lies deep inside the ground. And that is accurate, and this is actually meant to be the thing that marks the entrance to the Maw of Tardis. However, we're not going to go in just yet. There's a few things we want to do before we enter the Maw. So, I'm going to pause. I'm going to be right back with you. Alright. We're back, and I know I'm near Yalfatoma. Probably a few of you are confused. This is the gate that if you would go straight north, you'd basically hit Yalfatoma. However, we want to take this gate and head dead south. This is one of the only fish in the game I consider worth catching, and this is a pretty reliable way. You just want to keep heading south, until you run into this school of Romohai fish. Are going to also just some good grinding to be had here. Alright, here. And the idea is you kind of want to keep catching these guys until you can't anymore. Now, I personally like to be a bit of a pseudo-completionist, I guess, and get these guys until do this about 10 or 11 times over, but anyways, you'll have caught 99 when you hear the ding and it doesn't show anymore being caught. After I catch about 99 of these, I'm gonna meet you back at Nazrad because, frankly, even if it's in worse shape than it's ever been, it's still one of my favorite locations. So I'm gonna always make a point of it to go to the Sailors Guild there, and I'll meet you back. Alright, we're back at the Sailors Guild in Nazrad, and I did confirm with the Hamacho Hermit that getting that extra chest in Glacia did put me at the 85% mark. Now we're going to sell pretty much that bulk of discoveries we got, and pretty much I'm almost confident that almost every one of them... Okay, there's a few that somehow, despite being in high and low altitudes, he's heard of its location. And I'll be honest, this is going to be the best progress we make towards the Vice the Extravagant. Finally... Uh-oh. I think one of the bounties is those Zifflin Bane guys' boss. Alright. So now that we've got that dealt with, as you can see, we're kind of well on our way. There will be other opportunities to get a million. Next thing I'm going to do is head over to Crescent Isle to get Urala to cook us up some Romohai fish, but also alright. Alright. I want to actually go in here. And I want to go to where Ilkamis has set up shop and talk to him. So we're just going to rush over there. And we're going to talk to this gentleman. Alright. Now I'm going to go out here. Ooh, there we go. And we're gonna have Urala cook us up about nine Urala's lunches. Okay. And added on top of the 2 I had last time, that should put us at a nice, healthy 13. I'm gonna rest up. And we're gonna leave the island and come back. I don't think I could talk to Ryukani. Well, I mean, I can, but it isn't going to do much right now. Okay, not quite yet. If he says I'm tired, my youth is escaping me, he's not quite ready to upgrade his store. There is a point where he'll want to. Alright. Now we get to hear a little bit of Ilkemis' story. Oh, hello, Vice. Thanks to you, I have this wonderful lab where I can create medicines for you and your crew. I'm glad you like it. Alchemist, I've been wanting to ask you, why did you decide to devote your life to medicine, entire life to medicine? Before you joined my crew, you lived on that little island by yourself, mixing ingredients and making potions. You've been wondering why I decided to become a hermit. Well, I'll tell you, perhaps you'll understand why I chose this life. My parents were both nobles from Upper City, so during my childhood, I was well taken care of. Because of my family's wealth, I was able to buy all the books I wanted. I read all the time, you see. One day, on my way to the bookstore, I saw a very sick man from Lower City. He crawled into Upper City on his hands and knees. He was begging for money so he could buy medicine, but no one would help him. I ran to the shop to try to help the man. When I returned, he was already dead. I felt so helpless. From that day on, I decided I would devote my life to helping others. I spent days alone in my room reading about all the different types of medicines and potions. In time, I became one of Valua's best researchers. I wanted to make medicines that the people in Lower City could afford. I wanted to help people, but Valua had other plans for me. They wanted me to make weapons for the military. Shortly after, I fled Valua and found an island where I could continue my studies. Sorry if my story seemed a bit long. I believe in you, Vice. Although you are a warrior, you're fighting for the right cause. And that is why I want to aid you in your fight. I will do everything in my power to assist you and your crew. Anyways, 2 things. First off, pretty much all but like 1 seed type you can buy from Ilkemis. They're all 5,000. They are very much worth it. For me, I won't do that yet. Like I said, I am trying to get extravagant. Okay. So if you talk to him after you've upgraded his shop, he will offer you basically, so Urala's lunch, or Poly Special, I believe. If you use it, it will heal one person's entire HP and MP the Ilka mix will do it for the entire party. Having maybe about, I think my 13-year-old as lunches, and if I get about 20 Ilka mixes all together, that could probably carry me through the rest of the game if I'm being frank. They can only be used outside of battle, and but obviously they're extraordinarily helpful because they save much needed MP that you could be spending on other things like assault magic in battle. It really just does help with resource allocation and makes things a lot easier. Alright, I think I found as good a cutoff point as ever. We've discovered all but one discovery. Believe it or not, there is one discovery that is still yet unavailable to us. And we have that's pretty much most of what we did. But anyways, next episode, I will meet you near the dancing lights near the Maw of Tardis, and I'll see you next time.